him! I don't know anybody who ever came out this far.
Yeah, I'm not everybody. Pick up the stuff we need. Keep them.
Wow, you crossed them all off, like some sort of heroic accountant running down a list. Teach me your ways. Oh, well that's a shame. I mean, I could pay you in Adrena time, but I've already bartered most of my stash over to these poor saps. You, on the other hand, you were a sight to behold. If I had half your skills, I'd be the greatest outlaw the coast has ever seen.
The greatest. The GOAT!
I'm great at clarifying. No. I insinuated myself into their company, see? And they didn't seem to mind one whit. I don't know. The vital processes that constitute the miracle of life are mysterious and unknowable. Oh, you mean around these guys? The Marauders wouldn't hurt me. They love me. I'm practically their queen. Yeah, must be my natural charisma. I got kicked out of Edgewater on account of falling sick with plague and stealing some medicine to treat myself. I'd heard some outlaws set up camp in the botanical labs. I decided to throw in with them, seeing as I always wanted to be an outlaw myself. Instead, what do I find? But a bunch of former workers camped out around a greenhouse. I couldn't just go back to the cannery, so I was stuck with them. I've got all the time in Halcyon.
Yeah, you're crazy. Jeez, somebody got laid out. Trying to run for his life. That's this stuff I don't know what to do with. Where am I going? I'm going that way.
Long, stranger. We don't want any trouble.
I kill you.
I don't know you. Whatever you're looking for, it ain't here. Move along. Answers, huh? You must be one of those philosophicals. Already got ourselves one of those. A Geo what? Look, Lance ain't my purview. You're better off asking after Adelaide. If you're gonna start wandering around my camp, know that I got my sights on you.
I will put.
Over in the tending crop. Enough with the questions. No offense, but I've got a lot on my mind. Much obliged.
I should kill you, bro. Look, I gotta find this woman. Take all your stupid power.
If you're hungry, there's meat
So-
turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear?
Oh, so nice.
I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when you were but a sprout. Thomas speaks of you often. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned.
I don't believe.
A home for anyone who's ever turned their backs on Edgewater. A home for those of us with nowhere left to go and nothing to lose. So spores of the puffball, cast on the wind and alighting on fresh soil, we put down new roots.
Why are you so philosophical?
It is an unpleasant story, dear. But the short of it is that sometimes one wakes up and realizes the place that was once her home for much of her life has changed. The home in which we spent our lives has left us behind, and so we must move on. And that is as much as I will say on the subject. No, dear. The garden belongs to us all. Life is the gift of the universe, and the universe yields its bounty equally, absent of prejudice. Ah, cynicism. The privilege of the young. What you need is a little taste of my special mushroom soup. It'll broaden your mind. Or at least your irises. Reed Thompson? You here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then?
What do I say?
Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves. You're doing this for Reed? Why? Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip them out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery.
Do I
Seems
look like
sort
a
of
hero?
hero? A hero to the people who matter. To us. To the ones who come around. To the ones you save.
I want to be a hero.
Reed will never understand. He has been too long inebriated on the wine of corporate culture. All he sees is
I just don't like
productivity,
dude.
output, profits. Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down. Workers and our own little camp grows and thrives. You power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. Reed knows it. He's counting on it. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollering
just
their
don't
lives
like
away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's Choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them.
I'm all right. I ain't so fragile.
That was unkind of me. I'm sorry, dear. It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company owns them. Body, blood, and bones.
Well, I
You've
killed
been
you.
there. You've seen it. All anyone ever
I just
does is
wanna kill
toil
you.
over a cannery.
Nah,
They give their lives for some heartless corporation, and then they're tossed into a Spacer's Choice brand cemetery.
I guess I'll kill dude.
So, what do you say? Divert power over to us. Shut down that abominable cannery for good.
Choice. We got a choice, coach. What is this? Okay, so that's Edgewater Cemetery. Right? What's over here? What is this? Which one is the... This your defenses against a god? Alright, what we doing? Redirect power. Was that it?
3 switches. That'll be easy enough.
Where am I redirecting power to, coach? Sealed. Just reading some personal files. Oh, so she died. That's tough. Lady died.
We made it!
They went full Terminator on her. What is up with that cartridge? I don't even be reading these things. I'm gonna have to read these things in a second.
Process unexpected.
two more. What'll happen to Miss McDevitt's folk if we send power to the Vale?
So die. Not hear what she told us.
No, just leave me alone. Get away!
Oh, she's still alive.
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded.
Not do that. That.
System.
Here they come!
Yeah.
Target located.
Sit down.
That's the last of them! Let to go. If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to the Vale?
Well, sweeping.
Flaw tutorial.
The last. I'm not sure what the ride is. Alls I know is the decision's fun.
Yeah, I could care less about the decision. I came for a power generator. A power generator only.
Once we do this, there's no going. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore.
So why would I
But the
send
town's
power to
got some people
Edgewater?
in it. Decent, hard work, living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred? Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way.
Hmm. I'm gonna send it back to Edgewater.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that.
I get send it back.
I felt like I had to
Edgewater.
say
Try to kill Reed somehow. I feel like I would need partners towards the end of this game. I don't really care. I need my parts.
That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Otherwise, I would have seen you for the snake that you are, chopped you into pieces and roasted you on a spit. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, my food will spoil, and my flock will starve. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose my temper. Tell me, why did you do it? You know what? You're right. The Eternal made you a loathsome reptile, and it is not in my power to change the color of your scales.
Jeez.
Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to Edgewater. This is now your responsibility. And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flowers than live under his management. You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twisted reparation for what you've done? Or you just looking for a chance to sow some chaos? Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing the same four walls together.
I just feel like killing Reed.
My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear.
No, I must kill Reed. Oh no, I gotta talk to Thomas.
Everybody keeps staring at me. It's not my fault the power's dead. Whoa, Miss Parvati. You're, what, how are you? Hi, hello.
Are you, are things safe out here? How are you keeping?
Great, just great. I've been trying to keep stuff running, just like you. Only I'm not so... Wait, they didn't kick you out, did they?
Oh gosh, no, I'm just along with this fella here.
I seen you wandering around here. You don't look like you're coming from town. Never heard it phrased in such a way before. I guess we're all trying to get our ships off the ground, ain't we? Sorry, I just wasn't sure if you were from town or if you were one of us. Something's been chewing at me, you see. Fact is, I've been, well, lying. To everybody here. Camp thinks I'm a mechanical genius, but I couldn't fix a busted chair.
Do I have engineer?
I'll take all the help I can get. I set mine to learning the craft of the engineer, you see. I want to make something of myself. You ever heard of the Young Spacer's Guide to Mechanical Engineering? Comes in a set of 3. If I had my hands on one of those data pads, I could teach myself the ins and outs.
Those are good. My dad kept a copy with him when he was working in the cannery.
I know the old community center kept a copy. Should find another one back in town. If you could find me even one of those pads, I'd be greatly obliged. I wish I knew. I wager the town had the full set once upon a time. Where the third's gone, I can't say. I'll pay you for every pad you bring me. If, by some miracle, you can bring me the full set, I'll give you something pretty I've been saving for a lucky day. I appreciate you hearing me out, at least. Any luck finding one of those manuals? What's on your mind? Couple months. This camp's my home. People you see milling about, they're my family. At least I think of them that way. I owe them my life. Would have died in the wilderness if they hadn't chanced upon me, starving and delirious. I've been thinking about going back. I'm not much use to anybody here. I get sick thinking about working at the cannery. I can't do that again. I mentioned those manuals on mechanical engineering. Suppose if I had one of those, I could go back to Reed and make a real case for myself.
Marauders can't see us in the dark. Wild canids, on the other hand. The matter's been weighing on me. Fact is, I can't go anywhere long as Zoe's missing. Disappeared without a trace. Marauders took her, I suspect. I've crossed off my share of marauders. This ain't about them. I go looking for Zoe, I leave the camp undefended, seeing as I'm the only one of us who knows her way around a gun. My dilemma. Thank the Eternal. Wait, Marauder? Is she all right? Queen of the Marauders, huh? That's what comes of watching serials. Rots your gray. If you could bring her home, I'd be obliged. And if you could cross off some Marauders on the way, I'd be much obliged.
Don't engage. Put a hole in your face. Without a reason to. I gotta go back in here. not my
alright?
girl. Relax. I tell you do that before I pull out this Tommy gun. Oh, that's you. I'm like, who's that pulling up on me like they want the smoke, bro? I don't know why I keep pressing circle. Don't ask me questions like that. If you don't want to read it, you have to slow down. Sawed-off shotgun. Just say less. I feel like I'm gonna need these quick in a second, so I'm not gonna push that yet. If I get the thing and I don't use lockpicks, sure. I can't even sell stuff to a vendor, can I? Not until I upgrade my persuade. Apparently, everything needs to be persuaded. I just picked up a sawed-off shotgun. Do need heavy ammo though, but I'm broke. For 50? Oh no. I'm straight. Things upstairs. What? I'm trying to. Oh, I think the bits of the money ammo here. Gotta go up the stairs. Oh, so I'm about to pick that lock. F it.
Nice.
I can't get zoned until my thing, my persuade is up to 30. It's gonna be a minute because I only got 30 skill points right now. So it's kind of dead right now. Edgewater. It's downstairs? Oh, wait, go back down. What are you doing? What? She'll move. Really can't touch it. It'll be illegal. Take out the sanctuary move. Okay, that's the first two. Nah, to do the actual mission.
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows through our town like a cool stream of water. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. So, when can I expect them back at their posts? Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this town has been entrusted to me by Spacer's Choice. I am not perfect. I have made my share of mistakes. But I have done my best for this town. Her son got sick with plague a couple years back. Company never gave us enough medication to treat the whole town. So I had to choose, you see. Adelaide's child or someone else's. She's never forgiven me. I don't expect she ever will. I have been holding this town together with both hands. You can't just expect me to leave. I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. Edgewater may not look like much to some buttoned-up freelancer, but it is my home.
I don't like that face you're making at me.
Here they come! Down they go!
I was moving.
You just killed him. A favor? You just made me an accomplice to murdering my boss. I can't. I need to leave. I need to get away from here. I need to get away from you. You killed Mr. Thompson for talking down his nose at me? You got a real twisted sense of chivalry, you know that? Let's just move on. I couldn't forgive myself if I let you loose upon the Vale unsupervised.
You don't need to forgive yourself, sir. Man. I am what? It's righteous. It's just... I am what is righteous. They will not return it out. Power generator. Don't care about no Spacer's Choice. know some people waiting for me on this side. Where y'all at? Come on. Care about no stupid spacer shots. I'll murder everybody this time.
Don't mess with us.
I murder everybody in Spacer Style. I'll be in Edgewater. Let's go return to this. Wait, what? I see. Are they both at the same spot? What's the power generator? I really just shot dude and didn't care. Still. Not what I was expecting. Where's I headed, bro? I gotta run this mountain. In my power generator, I need you out of time. Ain't the door? Where's the door? I swore I was here. And I can't find the door again. Why can I never find the door to places? Where's the door? There it is. There's a power generator here. Yes, it is. Move.
Look at that. The snake's come back.
I will kill you too!
You have a peculiar comfort with violence. Killing off my garden, gunning down Reed Thompson. Suppose it's time our flock made our way back to Edgewater. We must tend to what remains of the town and carry on with our lives as best we may. You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping us with the other. Here, I'm giving you something to leave us be. It's a ransom, you understand, not a reward. You're telling me you did all this just to put me in charge of Edgewater? Stranger, you are some kind of twisted. I might turn that old cannery into a garden. Got ourselves a whole cemetery bursting with bodies. I need some time to gather my personals. Long walk back to Edgewater. Got a considerable burden to carry.
You gotta say something nice. Where's the... Okay, I can't find... Wait, what? It spots where the third volume could be? Is that what the circles are? Sneak. Oh. It's because of my heavy armor. I can't sneak around. Like a dummy. Let me break some of these down. Got so many of everything, bro. I have a grenade launcher. Space Invaders, not even. It's a regular.